Hello, friends and family. I'm at the Rossum Juice Bar in front of the hydration station. You know I've got beauty water on board. I always do, but this is a warm air blower. And you see it's got the blue light, but also it has a terahertz crystal on the inside. And terahertz is outside of microwave. So we are surrounded by Wi-Fi and cell phone service and all these microwave frequencies. If you look at the spectrum of frequencies, we're in microwave. This is outside in the terahertz. Tera is like Earth. Hertz is pulses per second. So this is helping me develop or produce stem cells in my bone marrow. It's charging my blood. That's why I like right here, because I have arteries and lymphatic. My lymph nodes are right here. My respiratory. Okay, I've got my chest right here and my throat, my sinus, my ears. I'm always putting them into my ears. It's great for skin. Terahertz. iTerra Care. Rife. Raymond Royal Rife is not associated with this. This has nothing to do with Rife technology. I have a book called The Resonance Effect by Dr. Carolyn McMakin. Maybe she's not a doctor, I'm not sure. How frequency-specific microcurrent is changing medicine. Think about that. Okay, think about killing cancer, not people. Robert G. Wright. Killing cancer, not people. Okay. Hidden messages in water. We are water. We're primarily water. My skin, my brain, okay, my cervical spine, my shoulder. I have a disconnected clavicle, not even connected to the scapula. So this is beneficial for me. My beauty water helps amplify the frequency, the charge. Hey, I charge my Kangen water, my electrolyzed reduced water, charge it. Look at that, thumbs up. Okay, this is how I help myself. I'll turn this off so I don't have to yell. This is Coos Freedom Friday. Thank you so much for pressing play. I appreciate you very much. Of course, you know I'm a man called Dave. I'm at the Rossum Juice Bar Hydration Station. I'm here by myself, solo, because there's a severe lack of participation right now. I'm not exactly sure why. I think people are waiting for someone to come in and save them. Maybe they thought, DJT was going to save the day, and who knows, he might. I saw, on the mainstream media news that Robert Kennedy, a Democrat, has been, I don't know, put in some position of power to make America healthy again. I'm not sure. But if he starts teaching about this stuff, frequencies being the future of medicine, then maybe I'll start listening a little closer. I know I saw a picture of him eating McDonald's on an airplane, so I don't know, maybe he's not on my team, but he does play for a team. And my team is the Oregon General Jural Assembly. That's the team I play for. I also play for the Kingdom of Heaven. I'm a citizen of heaven and a resident of earth, sojourning here. And of course, let me change the background real quick so I can do this. And now you see, of course, I'll take this off and I'll say, I pledge allegiance to the people's flag and to the republic for which it stands, one sovereign nation under divine law, with peace and prosperity for all. Thank you. I wrote that for myself because I just couldn't pledge allegiance to a fictitious flag, a military war flag that I don't support. I'm not anti-American. In fact, I am probably, quite the opposite, I would say. So I'm going to do this and just take that back off because our focus is health today. I talk about the Constitution for America, of course. I talk about local politics and things. One's purpose, stop human trafficking. But I believe that this has a lot to do with medical freedom also, because if you're still relying on pharmaceutical drugs, if you're upset because, your doctor is switched networks and now you have to go and relive your traumas and open up to a new face, the new doctor, they do that all the time, especially for veterans. It's called the disruption of the continuity of care. And it should be a crime, really, especially for people who have significant trauma in their life. It should be an absolute crime for them to force them to change doctors as often as they do, because it opens up all those old wounds. And here at the Juice Bar, I've got the therapy room with the bioharmonic technologies and the red light therapies with the solfeggio frequency tones. This is how our body can recalibrate, rebalance, restore itself. Now, it does release a lot of PTSD from the muscle and the tissue and the fascia, but also we talk about things. And those of you who have been in with me, you know that we kind of tend to dive deep. We're a bunch of deep divers. It's not made for everybody, but we have something for everyone here at the Juice Bar, whether you're going to start with a smoothie or a fresh cold pressed juice. We have apple cider vinegar fire cider. It's an infused with herbs like echinacea, with horseradish, with orange, lemon, and lime peel, with ginger, all kinds of really great ingredients for your body to restore itself, for your microbiome to balance and help restore. Your gut is like your first brain. Your umbilical cord is your first mouth. And most of us, we use this mouth to pollute ourselves. And then what comes out a lot of times is also pollution. So the hidden messages in water is Dr. I'm not sure if he's a doctor, but his name is Masuro Emoto. I'm pretty sure he should be yeah, Dr. Emoto's work. So the hidden messages in water means that this vibration creation machine right here can alter the molecular structure, the crystallization of water. And he knows because he did an experiment and he froze water after saying, wonderful, loving things. And it looked at it under a microscope after a flash freeze, and he could see beautiful crystallization, beautiful patterns in the water. And then to another sample, he said hateful things and froze it and looked at it, and it was distorted. It's called dissonance, creates vibration. Well, it creates distortion. So when we think distorted thoughts, we're distorting the waters inside of our body, inside of our cells, cellular, intracellular waters is listening, right? And so if you're not one whole being, you're like 30 trillion cells, let's say, cellular batteries, negative, positive. This water is ionized. This warm air blower is ionized, and it's a negative ion. Negative ion reduces inflammation in the body. That's like this water that I have here is also negative ions. And like on this side right here, the ORP proves that because it has a negative millivoltage. You can measure the millivoltage of the water. Like I say, when lightning strikes a lake or a pond, that surge of electricity will restructure the molecules of the water. For about 3 or 4 days, you'll have a charged water. And that's a lot different than the bottled water that we have is dead water. It's been sitting in a bottle, on a truck, in a warehouse, in a factory, who knows how long. And that water, it absorbs. Water is a solvent, so it's going to absorb its container. And that's why we promote glass as often as we can, or BPA-free plastics. That's going to be very helpful for the body because right now we're getting microdosed with microplastics. Our tap water, if you unscrew the aerator at the end of your faucet, you can see all the little plastic particles that are getting caught by the screen, but imagine the ones that aren't. So they're called microplastics. You can see them under a microscope. There's all kinds of little parasites and little bugs and critters and things in the water too. So they're microscopic. Means you can't see them with your eyes. Means when you hold it up to the light, it looks clear, but except when you put it under a microscope, it's most certainly not. So we purify, we triple, quadruple filter, we electrolyze, so it gets hit with that lightning bolt. It's separated. There's an acidic water that comes out that you don't drink. And then what comes out of the top hose, of course, is electrolyzed, reduced water. It's reduced because it reduces inflammation in the body. This is how I help myself. This is how I don't have to go to the doctor. This is how I don't have to rely on pharmaceutical meds. So let's circle back. If you're not medically free, you're not free. Not in this country where your groceries are out to get you. Your air is out to get you. Your water is out to get you because you're a patient cured is a customer lost. And you do not want to be dependent on a system that is designed to keep you on the wheel because it's basically harvesting either physically, emotionally, financially, or spiritually. That's a big, conversation that we need to have. And that's why I'm here. So one's purpose, stop human trafficking.
That's what I want for you, is to stop being harvested either financially or emotionally, spiritually. That's a big deal. And that's why killing cancer, not people, because I actually don't really agree with this. How about thanking cancer? Because cancer is like a safety mechanism that your body is doing. It's isolating all of those microplastics, all of those toxins, all of those synthetic, not made from nature ingredients that's in our food that the body doesn't recognize. It doesn't know what to do with these things. If it's not found in nature, the body's not going to know. It's not compatible with life. So what it does is it isolates it into a tumor. And then your doctor goes in and biopsies the tumor and releases all of that toxins back into your bloodstream and just destroys your immune system. So cancer is a blessing. We should not be at war with cancer. Cancer is like the greatest friend you've ever had. It's protecting you. Your tumor is protecting you. And what we do is we go to war with cancer. We say, F cancer. And yeah, F cancer, but why not F all of the synthetic ingredients that are put into our food? Why not F all the microplastics that's in our water and all of the pharmaceutical drugs too? There's a lot of pharmaceutical drugs that are in your water. You don't think that that's contributing to your cancer? You know, they say don't blame the coffee for what the creamer did. And that's true because most of those creamers are actually flammable and you're putting it into your body and you're blaming cancer. And that's not right. You know, cancer's trying to save your life. A friend of mine said that after she received her cancer diagnosis, she said that it felt like a divine tap on her shoulder, whispering in her ear, letting her know that her lifestyle was not working and she needed to make some changes. And she was more or less grateful for her diagnosis because it pushed her outside of her comfort zone. How change is created, whatever side it's on, right here. How change is created. Okay. Change is created outside of your comfort zone. And most of the time, we're too afraid, we're too isolated, separated, insecure, too hesitant. We'll say we'll do it tomorrow. That's fine. That's tomorrow comes, and then there's always another tomorrow because today and right now, it's all we have. And that's why I do my best to surround myself with things that will help revitalize me, recharge me. Like, for example, when you buy a cell phone or a laptop, don't you also buy a charger? And when you yourself, you think watching TV, binge watching Netflix is a deposit into your energy bank account, that's not going to keep you free. You're not free if you can't have your body help you. You know, that's just what it comes down to. So I don't mean to go on about this rant, but I just, I'm a in-home caregiver. I provide care to those who are not able to leave their home very well. You know, there's a lot of people right now, men and women in this town, who are dealing with cancer, heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, respiratory dysfunction, and they're not able to leave the house. They're in prison, they're in bondage. That is not freedom. And I think the reason why I think I get so upset is because I'm a caregiver, so naturally, I attract people who need care. And there are a lot of very, very uncalibrated, unregulated, unbalanced biological systems. So you have cardiac system, respiratory, endocrine, you have lymphatic, you have these different systems that are operating and they're trying to do so separately from one another, it seems. And that's what the pharmaceuticals do. They suppress the symptoms. And the symptom is your body's way of communicating the problem. So that's like putting a mask on, like it's masking the communication, you know. And so then the body can't communicate with each other either, and they're all working independently, and then the doctor becomes the puppet master, and most of the times they're just guessing. So I've been going to doctor's appointments with these men that I'm taking care of, and I get to advocate for them, and I get to have the conversation with the cardiologist, with the kidney specialist, and they're always impressed because I know the language, I know the lingo, I can see the picture, I've zoomed out, and I understand how this works. So I'm able to help and advocate for my patient better than I've ever been able to because I can see the holistic side of things with a WHOL. And that's why it's so beneficial. That's why I do all of this and I promote all of this stuff for you, because I want you to be free, a private free American, non-citizen American national. That's what the goal is. A citizen is an employee, a slave to a corporation. We don't want to be, unless we're a citizen of heaven, that's the jurisdiction that I fall under. Remember, I said I pledge allegiance to the people's flag and to the republic for which it stands, one sovereign nation under divine law, natural law with peace and prosperity for all. All. I'm going to share my screen real quick, only because that's what I've been doing this whole entire time. We're going to go over to Google Chrome. I don't really support Google Chrome, but it seems like it's pretty easy and they censor a lot of things. So if you can find it on Google, then you can pretty much find it anywhere else. All. I've already highlighted the term all, because yesterday a friend of mine, he asked me if I knew what all meant in relation to the Constitution. He asks a lot of people, and not very many people know what all means, because Article 1, Section 1, which you would say might be the beginning, the first word of the Constitution, is all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. So it says all legislative powers. And the reason why that's important is because we've got a president issuing executive orders and they're being received as though they are law. And they're not. They're orders. They're executive orders. But the executive branch of government is not the law-making branch of government. So DJT has no authority to make a law. He can only make an order. And I don't consent to unlawful orders. His orders are unconstitutional, as you just saw, if they're not brought through Congress, which is a Senate and a House of Representatives. It says all legislative powers. It doesn't say with the exception of executive orders. So that was the conversation that he and I were having. And I have to agree, I don't consider DJT to be the Messiah. He's not the anti or the Christ. Maybe he is, fighting for the people, trying to restore the republic, but I haven't seen it at the local level. I haven't, I know that they say things take time, but so far my observations say that the average people's lives have not really changed much. The average American here in Oregon, at least. And so I'll just go ahead and share my screen again, because there is something else. Right here, we've got this post that I made on February 2nd. It says the hidden chains of human trafficking in America. Did you know that human trafficking isn't just about physical captivity? We also always think that it's a bunch of kids trapped in a box truck, traveling through the Mexican border. But except in 2025, traffickers are exploiting birth certificates and social security IDs to control victims' lives, stealing their identities and freedom. This isn't about just documents. It's about manipulating minds and emotions to maintain power. Victims face devastating health impacts, both physically and mentally, also emotionally and spiritually, like I mentioned. From trauma and anxiety to chronic health issues, the scars run deep and long. This isn't just a human rights issue, it's a health and wellness crisis. We can't stay silent. We must protect the vulnerable and demand change. So this was a post that I made. This is a video that I posted, of course, with this description. And then right here, I typed into YouTube, BOSS, all caps, power in the people. And this came up because power of the people, I should have put of, you can type of, power of the people, YouTube channel, BOSS, hashtag police, cops, police officer, we the people funny. This is Cameron Wilson, originally from his first video I saw, he was in the Hood River, Oregon area. Now he's in the Yakima area of Washington. And he's standing on his God-given unalienable rights, and he's invoking his natural rights as a man on the land in America. He was born on the soil, just like me, just like most of us. And this is a friend of his or someone that he knows. And of course, he's, has his platform. This has had over 1 million views. And that's why I think 1.5 million.
16.
For the record, Gates,
Yes, sir.
badge number
516.
516. In order to protect my rights and not waive any by error or accident, I wish to clarify my legal understanding of this situation.
Okay.
You said that I am not free to go.
Yep.
So I must conclude that I am under custodial arrest and not simply in investigative detention. Therefore, I am invoking all of my fundamentally protected rights, including my right to remain silent and my right to assistance of counsel.
Sure.
From this point forward, I do not consent to providing you with any information or documents that could or will be used against me in a court of law or to possibly incriminate me. So please do not ask me to produce anything and give it to you.
Absolutely.
From this point forward, please do not ask me to answer any questions or perform any tests relating to any matter whatsoever without my attorney present. Officer Gates, badge 5.
Look, he didn't want to
harm, injure, or punish me by any method of assault, arrest, or incarceration because I invoke these fundamentally protected rights.
Absolutely not.
Thank you! What a bond!
So power inherent in the people. These are shorts, and these videos that he makes sometimes are 3 hours long. And I've sat through most of them on 1.25 speed. I get through them pretty quick. It's a lot of information. Carl Miller was one of them, I think close to 5 hours long. And he went over a lot of really great information. There's court hearings that people have recorded. And you know what? Human trafficking is happening on a scale that we can't even fathom. And right here, my friend Jody, Kingdom Citizen, Dr. Miles Monroe, who has...
I have dealt with...
But this is an advertisement, so we won't do that. But Miles Monroe, search him on YouTube. His name is spelled MylesMunroe. And he's from the Bahamas. And he talks about how before the Bahamas was colonized by Great Britain, they were a sovereign nation. The Bahamian people were free. And then once the crown came and colonized the Bahamas, and in a neighboring island of Haiti was colonized by the French. So in Haiti, they speak French. And in, of course, the Bahamas, they speak English, but they also drive on the opposite side of the road than America because they were colonized, which means that the culture of Great Britain was forced on the free people of the Bahamas. And similarly, we have been conquered and colonized in that way because we're used to this birth certificate system, this social security and driver's license and name and date of birth and all this stuff that we have to go through. So that's part of our colonization. We've been colonized by the banking system and by the bar, by the British Accredited Registry. Those are titles of nobility. If your lawyer is an esquire, that means he's given up his U.S. citizenship, and now he has a title of nobility because Constitution says you cannot have a title of nobility. In fact, even the Bible talks about not having titles. That's why Jesus was against the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Those are like the politicians of the back in the day, you know, the CEOs and the corporate oligarchs, you know, whatever you want to call them. They are for themselves. It's one big club and we're not in it. You know, Coos Freedom Friday, there's also a problem that we have here in Coos County, multiple problems. Our sheriff is definitely not on board for the Constitution. I don't think he's American. I think he's anti-American, if you ask me. I'll tell him right straight to his face too. So my goal is to just increase awareness, learn, unlearn, relearn. I want to implement more health conversations on Coos Freedom Friday. Health is wealth, but also, like I said, if you're not medically free, you're not free. If you're dependent on the pharmaceutical drugs, if you are dependent on going to a doctor so you can get answers on how your own body works, but you don't want to learn, we can help you. I can help you here at the Juice Bar. There's a natural way to allow your body to heal by design. We can help. So I can give you some resources, some books. I've got a lot of things here that I can let you learn on your own. I can kind of show you the way, but you have to do a lot of this work on your own. It's hard work. That's why if it was easy, everybody would do it. A lot of it has to do with drinking smoothies. Look at this Franken smoothie. It's got just a bunch of good stuff. Frequencies, hydration. Okay, they say that frequencies are the future of medicine. Well, it's not the future anymore. It's actually the past, because back in the early 1900s, Raymond Royal Rife was helping people heal their bodies from common diseases that we have today. And when the American Medical Association came in, they removed frequency therapy from the scope of practice, and licensed doctors and physicians were no longer allowed to practice with frequencies. They would lose their license if they would. So eventually, doctors, of course, just stopped using them and it phased out. I'm not a doctor, not a licensed anything. A license gives you permission to do something that is otherwise illegal. I don't do anything that's illegal. Crazy. So, of course, I practice frequency therapy here at the Juice Bar, but what I do is I allow people to do it on their own. I mean, it's simple. Everybody can do it. And most of the stuff that I've learned, I've had to learn on my own, because there's not a class for that at the local community college for the things that they don't want us to know. And of course, I sell a lot of this stuff, like people can purchase these items from me also. So I help others create little individual personal wellness centers in their own home if they can, if they want to, if they have the resources available. This is like purchasing a used car, like a good like Honda Civic, $5,000 is an investment. Of course it is. But what if the Honda Civic produced its own fuel and you never had to go to the gas station ever again? Wouldn't that be beneficial for you? Would you be sharing gas once your tank is full and it continued to produce fuel? Would you collect it and share it with others? Because that's what we do. That's all we do. Every single distributor that I've ever met has shared water with others. Because when you notice the difference, when you feel the benefit, you're going to want to have this technology in your home. And it's Japanese technology. It's a 50-year-old company, and they've been in business helping people for about that long. This we've only known about for 15 or 20 years here in America. I've had mine for 7 years. My life has not been the same since I started drinking this water. Everything has changed and for the better. I found all this stuff and I'm doing great. I mean, I feel fantastic. I'm playing pickleball tomorrow and Sunday. So I'm not sitting at home watching Netflix, binge watching, eating Doritos on the couch or on my beanbag chair. And I don't want that for you either. I want you to be free. I want you to be healthy. And I want you to learn, unlearn, relearn. Coos Freedom Friday. I've got friends who are helping themselves. I want you to join my team also. Solutionrevolution.com. OregonGeneralDuralAssembly.com. Let me share my screen again right here. OregonGeneralDuralAssembly.com. This is how we get started. You just put your contact information in the contact form at the very bottom of the home screen, and somebody will reach out to you. And if you're in Coos County, it'll eventually be me. I'm the moderator of the Coos County Petite Jural Assembly. That means that I'll sit with you. I'll explain stuff to you. I'll help sign you up. You'll do your oath. You'll join our assembly. And then you'll be a part of a constitutional republic for Coos County, of the people, by the people, for the people, just like back in the day, my grandparents in the JFK days, remember hearing him talk about restoring the republic and moving away from the Federal Reserve and becoming a free, independent nation state. Well, here we are. We're there. So let's do it together. I'll help you. I'll hold your hand. We'll start here at the Juice Bar. We can meet at the park or at the beach. It's where I spend most of my time out in nature. And we'll just talk about restoring the republic and how we can help you restore yourself. Your own health is your own wealth. And disease is a summary of what you eat, drink, what you think, what you watch, but most importantly, what you don't eliminate. So we'll talk about elimination also. Coos Freedom Friday. Submit your questions, comment down below, do whatever you want. Private message me at a man called Dave, and I'll see you very soon. I love you very much. Have a great night.